Hello there guys and welcome back to Blues TV for my live review of Chelsea 2, Brighton Hove Albion 0. We finally kept a clean sheet. Frank Lampard has finally managed to keep a clean sheet as manager of Chelsea Football Club, and I am buzzing. I am absolutely buzzing. And it sounds silly and the performance was decent enough, but it wasn't great, but I'm still absolutely buzzing. We finally won. We won at home in the league. We kept a clean sheet. I'm very, very, very happy. It's been a good day. I'm very pleased. I can't lie. I'm very pleased, especially after I saw the lineup, before the game. I was like, what on earth are we doing? And I won't lie, the Chelsea, social media team really didn't help that whole situation because of how they kind of, wrote down, I guess, the players and kind of made it sound like it was a 4-2-3-1 with Barkley as the DM next to Jorginho, Mason Mount on the wing, even though both Pedro and Willian were playing. It was very dodgy. It was very, very dodgy. But before I get into the main part of the review, please be sure to subscribe to Blues TV. If you're new here, that would be massively appreciated. Make sure you smash that notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of our future uploads. In the future uploads. You're stumbling on my words. And of course, also be sure to smash the like button. You're already here watching this. If you're here, please just go down below and smash the like button. That would be massively appreciated. But now, let's get into it and talk about Chelsea 2, Brighton 0. And obviously, we have to start that off with the lineup, which I, just mentioned, was a little bit weird. It was a little bit weird. Now, N'Golo Kanté, turns out, has another injury. I had a bit of a hamstring twitch. Is that the right word? Tweak. Kind of felt his hamstring a little bit, Frank Lampard explained before the game. It's nothing serious, and he felt it a little bit all week, even though he was training. But to be safe, they left him out. N'Golo, please be sure that you don't turn out to be, injury prone, because I can't be having that. We do not need an injury prone. Let me just move that a bit. We do not need an injury prone N'Golo Kanté. Really can't have that. I need you to be playing more games than just against Liverpool. All right, right. So that meant okay, no Kanté. So what do we do then? You think, oh, Kovacic is going to start, obviously then. If he wouldn't start otherwise already. No, Ross Barkley comes in for N'Golo Kanté, or you could almost argue Barkley would have started anyway, and Mount. Well, no, not really, but as in Pedro came in instead of Kovacic, basically, and that meant Mount dropped back, into midfield, and then Barkley just moved over a little bit. You can talk about it, in that sense as well, I guess. But, in general terms, I was very confused. And also, Kurt Zuma fell ill, apparently, this morning, which meant that Tomori and Christensen had to start, which, I have no complaints about anyway. But, Christensen wasn't 100% sure whether he would be 100% fit today. But, he played the game, played the full game, and had a decent performance, I thought, as well. So, all good, of course. So, just to run you through the lineup, it was a 4-3-3 formation in the end. Kepa in goal, a back four of Alonso on the left, Azpilicueta on the right, a centre-back partnership, like I just said. Fikayo Tomori and Andreas Christensen, a midfield three of Jorginho, of course, as the deepest of the three. Next to him was Ross Barkley, to his right, to the left of Jorginho was Mason Mount. On the left wing, well, they swapped a lot, but on the left wing, I guess, mainly was Willian. On the right wing was Pedro, and sometimes they swapped, like I say. And Tammy Abraham started up front and started the game. We started off really well, a really high press, and, we didn't create a huge amount of chances, but we had a couple of moments where just one final pass or just one final move, like piece of movement, I guess, would have, led us to even having a great chance. Good piece of pressing, completely dominated Brighton. We genuinely did for the majority of the game, but we had a good start. But things slowed down a little bit as the game went on, if you will. And we kind of struggled to keep control. Brighton had their almost moments when they had a couple of through balls where they didn't have any sort of attempt on target or even attempt full stop until the 60th minute when, they put a cross with, they crossed the ball in. The guy tried to header it, but, caught it with his shoulder and put it over the goal. But, that was their first attempt with an hour gone. But still, they had a couple of moments where Tomori had to, clean up, Christensen had to clean up, Kepa had to clean up, and it was a little bit dodgy. But, in the end, we got through the first half. We had our moments, we had our chances, especially late in the first half. We easily could have scored 2, 3, if not 4 goals. Pedro was through a goal after an unbelievable over-the-top ball by Jorginho. That kind of thing is why Jorginho doesn't have, more assists. Tammy Abraham had one where he kind of missed the ball for pretty easy header. Not easy header, he was close to it and almost got there from a Mason Mount free kick, which probably would have gone in had he gotten a touch on it. Tammy Abraham had a chance that he could have really scored, I'm pretty sure, and we had one more. Was Pedro another one? I'm not sure, but we had a couple of chances in the first half that we really could have scored, like 3 or 4. Could really have been that, in the first half. And then going into the second half, it was a little bit slower. I felt like, okay, we're a little bit tired here, and You know, I mean, throughout the entire game, Barkley was just holding everything up. I mean, everyone else was pretty decent at the first time or second touch passing. And Barkley just always took 7 touches. That's what it felt like anyway. And, you know, he had some decent moments, to be fair to him as well. I'm not going to completely slate him. But, you know, he had some dodgy moments in there. And he always does. And it's just so frustrating. You know, I cannot comprehend how Mateo Kovacic didn't start over Ross Barkley. Sorry, I don't get it, Lamps. I absolutely don't understand it. I will, of course, touch on the Christian Pulisic situation later on. But now, you know, later on in the second half, in the 50th minute, I say later on, literally 5 minutes into the second half, we get a penalty. You know, great piece of pressing by Mason Mount as he just, what was the guy's name? Adam Webster. You know, they were just trying to play it out from the back, I guess. Adam Webster in their own box, took a heavy touch. Mason Mount was in, nicked the ball off him, and then Adam Webster, as he kind of tried to get rid of it before Mason Mount, you know, didn't get there in time, clipped Mason Mount, deserved penalty. And this time, even though Ross Barkley started again, even though Pedro was on the pitch and started, who took it in midweek, and Willian was on the pitch as well, this time Jorginho stepped up. And the absolute penalty boss he is, there was no fuffing about. There was never any doubt. He was going to score that, and he did score that. And it was a crucial goal, because if we don't score, if we don't take that penalty, especially, of course, if we don't have the penalty, it's again a slightly different situation. My light is flickering a little bit. Sorry, guys. It's again a slightly different situation, but if we get a penalty but miss it, that's worse, because that boosts Brighton, that lowers our confidence. But Jorginho stepped up and took it really well. And I was very happy about it. I was very happy when I saw him step up. I was like, all right, we're scoring this, calm. You know, it's fine. We're going to be 1-0 up now. Perfect. Very happy. And, you know, then we started to struggle a little bit. We didn't create that many more chances. We had a couple. Pedro was through on goal after a good piece of play by Barkley, to be honest. That was his best moment of the game. Pedro was through, again with a decent chance, put it straight at the keeper like he did first time round. Tammy Abraham had another 1 or 2 that he could have done a little bit better with. But then eventually we did actually make it 2-0 with a lovely move. A lovely move, I have to say. When we started it from the back, Callum Hudson-Odoi, who had just come on for Pedro with a great piece of pace, just covered loads of yards on the pitch, at least 50, 60 yards before, you know, just not squaring it over, but releasing Willian down the right, who was in loads and loads of space. And then Willian, he went for goal. His shot wasn't actually great. He would have kind of just blasted it at the keeper. I'm not sure whether he was going for the far corner, but didn't really hit a great shot, or whether he was going for the near corner and didn't really hit a great shot. But he took a slight deflection and went in between the keeper and the post. But, you know, Willian, you know, his shot was going on target, so it does officially count as Willian's goal. And, yeah, so that was 2-0, even though before that, Brighton hit the bar from a corner, another set piece. I hope we finally, at some point this season, get our set piece defending right, because it's frankly ridiculous. Like, it is honestly ridiculous. Remember last season when Sarri, a reason for him playing Alonso over Emerson at times was the fact that we had a little bit more height in there. And now we have Alonso and we still can't defend set pieces to save our lives. Honestly, it's a bloody issue. It really is an issue, and it's frustrating and it's concerning as well. And they had a couple of other moments when, what was his name? Mopai was through and he could have done a little bit better. Another guy that came on was through and he could have done a little bit better. We were like a bit shaky at times, but we held out and we did manage to, you know, get it through to the end, made it 2-0, and then it was calm. Could have made it 3-0 after that. Again, Tammy with one when he tried to chip the keeper. The keeper kind of, well, sold him a dummy, really. Told him he was going to go down, but didn't. And then, you know, just saved the dummy. Saved the chip, sorry. And to be honest, that was then it. You know, there was not that much more happening towards the end of the game. Just to get through it, of course, I mentioned Callum Hudson-Odoi coming on. That was in the 63rd minute as he came on for Pedro. 68th minute, Kovacic came on for Ross Barkley, which in my opinion, well, was what we should have started with, or at least should have been the substitution that we should have made much earlier in the game. And then for the last, well, I guess 10 minutes if you add injury time, Michy Batshuayi came on for Tammy Abraham. Now, what else is there to mention? Of course, let's run through the lineup and let's talk about the Christian Pulisic situation, because that is something that has to be spoken about. You know, I mean, you can't really argue with anything. I said it in my preview yesterday. If you haven't seen it, check it out, because why not? I didn't expect Reece James to start. I didn't expect Callum Hudson-Odoi to start. I mean, they just come back from month-long injuries. They can't play 2 games in 3 days. You know, we played on Wednesday. Okay, 4 days. But still, you know, they can't do that. So obviously they were never going to start. So I can't complain with the back 4. Emerson is out injured. Zuma was ill. And even if he isn't ill, I would prefer Christensen once he's 100% fit over Zuma next to Tomori at the moment. I mentioned the Kovacic midfield situation. I don't understand it. Hopefully Kante is back soon, whether that's for Lille or whether it's for Southampton next week. But we need him back ASAP. Like, we really do. Like, actually, for the Champions League, we do. Because if we don't win in Lille, like the hopes of qualifying, especially any sort of hopes for qualifying as top of the group, are out. Like, absolutely out. Um, and then you have the wingers. You know, I said it in my preview, I just absolutely never want to see Willian and Pedro start together, and that's exactly what we got. Exactly what we got, and Christian Pulisic was left out again. And then when we make a substitution to bring a winger on, Hudson-Odoi, who was out for 6 months, plays one game in midweek against Grimsby, against the League 2 side, is already above, you know, Pulisic in a pecking order. Yes, you know, someone tweeted me like, yeah, of course. I mean, he knows Mason Mount, he knows Tammy Abraham, he knows all these players on the pitch, and even from last season. I'm like, well, yeah, but Pulisic has been part of pre-season, well, since what, late July? Or mid-July or whatever. He knows these people by now. Like, it is a bit weird, and you have to question it. But then again, if I think back to the Grimsby game, okay, Pedro was worse, but Pulisic wasn't good. He didn't follow orders. Neither did Hudson-Odoi, but Hudson-Odoi did more so in the second half, follow Lampard's orders, and Pulisic didn't. Lampard, you know, not specifically said Pulisic didn't, but he said what the orders were, and Hudson-Odoi was doing more of that than Pulisic was. And if the order, you know, the kind of instruction to the players was the same as Lampard said it was, then Pulisic wasn't, you know, following instructions, and that of course is an issue, and that of course, in my opinion, makes it quite obvious why he didn't start. But running through a couple of performances, Kepa still needs to come out for more set pieces. I know he's not the tallest, but he needs to figure that out. He really needs to. We all know he's great on the line. He had a good one when he came out and just chested it, kind of, to save it. Because it was just on the line of the box, so he could have used his hands, but wasn't sure, and tried, just better safe than sorry, I guess. Well, went for it with his chest. Azpilicueta, I thought, actually was good today. Okay, not incredible going forward, but he was good defensively today, which he's been struggling with in other games this season, and I was happy with Azpi in that sense today. Christensen and Tomori, both very, very good. Alonso, decent, had a cross that he put over for a throw-in on the other side, but then had an unbelievable cross. That's the chance I forgot. Ross Barkley, when he had a volley from 7 yards away from goal and just dropped it into the hands of the keeper, really. Great cross by Alonso, that one. Don't see crosses like that by Alonso very often at all, but he managed it that time round. And he crossed to Barkley. Barkley bottled it, but Alonso was okay. He wasn't great, but he wasn't awful. We got really lucky with our goals today. I mean, to me, it's just great pressing by Mason Mount to receive that penalty. Yes, fortunate for him to make a mistake, but by pressing, you force the opponent into making mistakes. And the second one, okay, slightly lucky with the deflection, but at the same time, we got unlucky on a lot of other chances. So I think we fully deserved that win. We fully deserved that win, even though Brighton obviously hit the bar from with a header following a corner. You see how bad Neil Taylor was today? Yeah, he was quite bad. Sorry, guys. Just having a drink. Pulisic is lightweight and is going to struggle in this league. I would agree if we didn't have bloody Pedro. Because Pedro is a lightweight and struggles all the time. Because Pedro is bloody awful. Should always start ahead of Barkley. I agree. Jorginho, I will get to him. Now. Jorginho is a boss man. Jorginho is an absolute boss man. I have a couple of mates that really dislike Jorginho. Pisses me off every single time. He was absolute class. I mean, he's absolute class most times he plays, but today was absolute class. One moment he had when he lost the ball in a position where he shouldn't have lost it, but other than that, it was absolutely faultless. Some great passing, a lot of interceptions. Didn't see the start later on, but he had the most interceptions of anyone on the pitch earlier on in the game. Had some good tackles as well today, which he doesn't always. Had some good tackles as well today. Some great passes. Would have played Pedro through for, he played Pedro through for a one-on-one with the keeper, and Pedro bottled it. Would have given him an assist. Took the penalty like an absolute, like an absolute expert and boss. And I'm very, very happy with him today. Barkley, meh. Not good. He wasn't horrendous, but he definitely wasn't good. Mason Mount was decent, had a better first half than he did in the second half. We generally weren't as good in the second half, even though we scored both goals in the second half. We played much better football and had much more control of the game in the first half. But that's just Chelsea at this season. When we play really, really well, we don't take our chance. A bit like the Leicester game. Okay, we scored one that game, but we should have been 3-0 up after 20 minutes. And then in the end, we're lucky that we didn't lose that game. But that is that. I mentioned Barkley, mentioned Mason Mount. Kovacic came on, did all right. Was better than Barkley, that's for sure. Had one when Abraham should have made it 3-0. That was a great through ball. Not when Tammy should have made it 3-0. When Kovacic played Tammy Abraham through, who then tried to play in Hudson-Odoi on the left, but Tammy just underhit his pass, which meant Hudson-Odoi couldn't get there and the defender managed to clear it. So Kovacic had a couple of decent moments in there. Pedro, poor as always. Willian, not great. But I didn't think it was anywhere near as poor as some people made him out to be. I don't know why people were so angry with Willian today. Before the game, people said, no, Barkley's good as he's starting because Pedro can't score, Kovacic can't score, and it's good that we have someone that can shoot from outside the box, and, it's important against these defensive teams. Then Willian plays, tries to shoot from outside the box loads of times, and, Brighton always managed to get good blocking. And it's not like he had shots from silly positions, shots from silly positions. He had shots from decent positions. Some of them were decent shots, but they just got blocks in. I didn't think Willian was awful today. Got a goal in the end. Yes, slightly fortunate, but still. And what I really want to mention about Willian is he worked and ran his bloody socks off. Fair play to him today. He worked and ran his bloody socks off. He could not have done more. You know, literally, he was sprinting his bloody arse off. Like, there was a couple of moments, literally 2 minutes before he scored, similar moment when Hudson-Odoi tried to play him in and just overhit the pass. And Willian was just sprinting that length of the pitch, trying to get there, just about didn't, was like puffing his cheeks and chest, whatever, just like he was lying dead, you know, behind the byline, but got straight up, and 5 minutes later or whatever it was, he got up and scored. Yeah, so that is that. Hudson-Odoi came on, was good. He wasn't incredible, like, chill people. Like, he was good on the ball in his sprints when no one was tackling him. Okay, we know he's quick. And the pass to Willian wasn't that incredible, but he was good, and it is a good thing. Obviously, give him a little bit of time, he will get there. And, you know, I was very happy with him. Did I forget it? Mishi, he didn't play for long enough for me to really say anything on him. The comment by Lewis, and instead of an EZ, we got very lucky today. If that Dan Burn header went in, that would have changed the game completely. Yeah, you can of course argue that, but at the same time, if we score any of our 3 or 4 huge chances, sitters, in the first half, it's a different game in the other perspective. So, you know, you can always argue it both ways. I mean, let me just go to the stats today. Okay, in the end, we only had 53% of the ball. A little bit earlier in the game, we had around 56, so that is not okay, not bad. Total shots, we had 24 to Brighton's 8. Chances created, we had 19 to Brighton's 7. Big chances, we had 9 big chances. I look at these stats here very, very often. I don't think I've ever seen it say big chances 9, right? Not ever. And if for Brighton it says 1. We had, like, obviously more of the ball. Pass success was decent. We had, you know, more corners. Just 1 offside, which I'm very happy with. We had 10 shots on target, 4 off target, while Brighton had 1 on target and 4 off target. We fully deserve to win today. And my man of the match is, without doubt, Jorginho today. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think you can question it. Although Pulisic, not Pulisic, he doesn't play games, does he? Tomori and Christensen were also decent, but, you know, I was happy. Yeah, but generally, yeah, Jorginho, I was very, very happy with him. Can't, you know, can't complain with it. Lisa saying, well, Willian played well against Liverpool, but not good enough. Goal was a deflection. Don't know what you're trying to say with that. We didn't play against Liverpool today. He was decent enough against Liverpool as well, I thought. But at the end of the day, I'd rather he scores a lucky deflection goal than that he doesn't score at all. And you have to be there you have to be in that position to get it done in the first place. And he was there, and fair play. He absolutely was, you know, there and fair play. And literally, I texted a friend of mine. Not sure if you're watching. If you are, hello. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I texted her saying, like, you know, Pulisic should come on for Willian now, just to give us some fresh legs on the counter, because obviously I was a bit worried about conceding that, you know, an equaliser. And literally 2 minutes later, Willian scores. So I was very, very happy. Now let me just get to a couple of more. Who said that? Message retracted. Someone said something about racist. If any one of you is being racist, stop it. Because you're a prick if you are. I agree. And if none of you is being racist, I don't know what that guy was on about. And yeah, let me just get to a couple of messages from the chat. What on earth are you on about? What did he say? I know what he mean. All right, I'm not gonna get into this. I'm not gonna get into this. What he means is the whole Lampard, you know, favours English players. I'm not sure whether he does. I don't think he does. You know, I explained this earlier. With the whole, like, instructions for the Grimsby game. And neither Hudson-Odoi nor Pulisic really did it, especially in the first half. Second half, you know, Lampard reiterated it at halftime, and Hudson-Odoi does it a lot more than Pulisic. Understandably so, Pulisic doesn't play. If you don't follow the orders and the instructions of your manager, when you do get a chance to play after you didn't play for a couple of games already, then meh. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit. I get it. I get it. Next season, Odoi must start. Sell Barkley next season. Odoi must start games now. I agree, but I wouldn't start Odoi midweek. I would start him for the first time against Southampton next week. We played at 40% of Liverpool game and we won 2-0. We ugly 3 points. Yeah. Barkley isn't good enough. I agree. Loftus-Cheek in for Mount. Well, I mean, first of all, he has to come back. Then we'll change formation and make both of them play. Jorginho for captain. He can lead a little better than Dave. At the end of the day, I'm not that fussed as to who is actually the captain, because to me, you don't have to wear the captain's armband to be the captain. Like, if John Terry came back to Chelsea now, but as a player, just in theory, even though he's old, obviously, just disregard that bit. It doesn't matter whether Azpilicueta or Jorginho is wearing the captain's armband, John Terry would be the captain on the pitch, and no one would question it. And if Jorginho is as much of a leader and as much more of a leader than Azpilicueta is, then that will be normal. And also, you know, Azpilicueta's been at the club for so long, and on-pitch captain, Jorginho might be slightly better suited to, but there is background stuff in the club going on as well, where Azpilicueta, I'm sure, is better suited to it than Jorginho at the moment. Just speaking English, you know, Azpilicueta's been here for longer, so he's better at that, and also just generally knows the club better. Pulisic isn't ready for Premier League. We need to give him time to adjust. You say he's not ready for Premier League, but he hasn't played in a Premier League much, and when he did, he wasn't bad. And I mean, his best game was in the Super Cup, and that was against the best team currently in the Premier League against Liverpool. So can't really say that. Reece James in, yes. Again, like Hudson-Odoi, I think and hope that he will start or play against Southampton next week. Don't think, what's the word? Lille is the one. But yeah, I'm 20 minutes in. I'm going to do one more question by you guys. Yes, we won, Lisa. Great stuff. And then I'm going to leave it out. So I don't need to start games now. He's ready. Not Lille, like I said, but, you know, start him against Southampton next week. I would say I think Barkley played well today. We should not Bakayoko him. He didn't play well today. I disagree. Alonso's doing good. Not going to lie. I think good is an overstatement. He's doing okay. He's definitely not doing Emerson level, but he's doing all right, to be fair to him. I don't know why a lot of hate on Zuma. He's an absolute tank. I agree. No hate on Zuma for me. I just think that next to Tomori, because they're kind of similar from the type of defender they are. Positionally, not always perfect, but they've got the pace to get back. And I prefer just one of the centre-backs being that kind of way, with the other one being a bit more like Christensen, perfect in the positioning for the most part, but then not physically the strongest. That's going to be the problem as well when Rudiger is back, because Rudiger, Tomori and Zuma are very similar in that sense, and Christensen is the only other one. So we'll have to wait and see what we do now. The old wingers didn't try to pick Tammy at all. Yes, although Tammy isn't the greatest in the air, even though he's so tall, he's much better on the floor than he is in the air, even though he scored a header, obviously, at Wolves, but generally isn't the greatest in the air, so I kind of get it in a sense. Tammy needs a little bit of time now as well. I said this earlier. I almost don't want to say it, but it's meant a bit of Morata right now, right? Missed a sitter against Liverpool, should have just squared it. Missed 2 or 3 really good chances today, and I'm not saying he is Morata, but you know, he needs to make sure that he doesn't end up like that, because Morata had a great start, and then I don't know, but didn't score, and then people got on his back. Don't think they will get on his back, you know, like they will get on Tammy's back as much, because obviously he's English and all that. Definitely didn't say that because they're black. Don't you worry about that, mate. Definitely did not say that because they're black. It's because they're all bloody quick and the positioning is poor, usually. Do you think Barkley will start against Lille? Well, bloody hope not. Bloody hope not. I mean, what was the point in him starting today if he's also going to start against Lille? That's my only hope, that he started today, so Kovacic is rested for Lille. Yeah, Willian was good, not great. Pedro was dead for, but big up to Jorginho and the 2 centre-backs. They were our best players. Tammy, his holder play was good, but finishing let him down. Yes, completely agree with that. I'm going to leave it there. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Like I said in the beginning, please be sure to subscribe to Blues TV if you haven't already. And if you're new here, that would just be great. I mean, we just hit the 80,000 subscribers. First of all, thank you for that. And just keep it growing. Hit the 90k. We're on the road to 100,000. So, you know, help us there. If you're new, please do subscribe. And of course, if you are watching, please be sure to hit that like button. You're already here. If you're watching up until this point, please be sure just smash that like button. Because why not? Just go down below. It doesn't cost you anything. Cost you a tiny bit amount of time, but just go and smash the like. That'd be great. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. Very, very happy to get that first home win in the league. Very, very happy to get that first clean sheet of the season. And yeah, up to Chelsea. And I'll see you when I see you.